Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, welcome to Veterans Growing America. If this is your first time in here, that's okay. Just do not make it your last. My name is Donnell Johns. I'm founder and CEO of Veterans Growing America, and I'm coming to you. I'm walking in, so I need a round of applause as I walk in the side. I feel like I'm Steve Harvey. How y'all doing tonight? Give me some. Give me some. I need some tonight. All right. That felt good. I want to do that one more time. I don't know how it feels good to get love, especially in today's, in today's climate. And so I'm glad y'all came out to show us love and to support what we're doing. You have walked into America's first veteran marketplace in Maryland. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here. I am so honored to be a part of something like this. When I left the military in 2016, I wanted to be a part of a community outside of the military that was a little bit greater than ourselves, right? I looked around, I couldn't find anything, and then one day, we had an opportunity to open up a store. I didn't know what we were going to do, but we made it happen. We opened our first store in Woodbridge, 2022. And I know we have one of our customers here from Woodbridge. Give her some love to drive her all around Woodbridge. If you guys love this store, y'all will fall in love with our other stores, 5,000 square feet of amazingness. With two stores together, we have over 50 entrepreneurs that are set up in our store full time. And through that, we have over 300 entrepreneurs that pop up within our space. And so when we're in this climate right now where you don't shop, please come shop here.
All you gotta do is
shop, baby.
Put your shop on. We try to make it fun, we try to make it a great time, and we try to make sure that we connect our community with business, education, and employment resources. We don't want them to just pop up in here. We want them to grow up out of here. That's why our name is Veterans Growing America, because we want to continue our growth throughout our maturity when it comes to business. And we couldn't just stop at one location. Y'all will see us all over the world.
amen.
Right? All over the world. And so today we're going to talk about excellence. And I like to surround myself with excellence because that's the only way that I learn and grow. I try to stay uncomfortable as possible because if I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. And these individuals right here, when I have a question or I need some support or whatever, I pick up the phone and I talk to these individuals. And I always get the information or the resources or the support that I need. And so I wanted to be able to share their gifts, their talents with our community because we need this right now. Y'all may think that this is the end of the world, but this is actually the beginning. This is the beginning of opportunities that you haven't even seen yet. Opportunities like this open up doors for us in ways that you could never, ever imagine. I would have never known that I would have had 2 stores after I retired in 2016. This was not in my imagination. But you know what? It's a part of people's reality now. And so thank y'all for being here. I want to thank our 2 moderators that are going to facilitate, Kylie and Trina. They're some amazing individuals. I wish I had your bio to speak more about you than you guys can tell about yourself. And I want y'all, before you leave, to shop with our entrepreneurs. This is something that they're passionate about. This is their passion, their purpose, and we're going to turn it into prosperity, right? I also want to give a shout out to my amazing wife, Tanya Johns. She's right here. Come on up, baby. So they can see you. So I committed to all of this and then she made it a reality. She was like, so how do you want to set up? I said, I don't know. Where are we going to open up with you? I said, I don't know, babe. I said, we got the store. I don't know what else to do. But as a community, we brought this thing together, and now we have a marketplace that America can come shop with 7 days a week and support our community in a way they've never supported before. So thank you, baby, for being here. All right, let's get this show on the road. I'm gonna hand the microphone over to these two young ladies so they can introduce everybody and make this thing great.
We need ones. So, thank you everyone so much for being here and allowing us to moderate. I'm here with my sister, Trina, which she'll have the opportunity to tell a little bit more about herself. But I really just want to recognize, of course, we have an amazing panel, but just the excellence in the room right now. We have retired service members, we have family. It's the breadth of a veteran network that makes us powerful. So I just want to thank everyone who's here supporting someone and who's here to just really take in all the stories and feedback we're about to get today. So just a little bit about myself. I am in the Army Reserve, so I'm not quite veterans yet. I am a Civil Affairs NCO and Public Affairs. So I've had the pleasure for the past 8 years of stewarding messaging stories for the U.S. Army Reserve, domestically and deployed. I'm also a serial volunteer. I'm going to think of a name for that. I'm going to have to brand that. You'll see me at various nonprofit and veteran service organizations across DC, Woodbridge. I've been out there quite a few times. I'm trying to get on the jump rope club and the swing dancing. I'm really going to have to learn how to do that. I'm a little rhythm challenged, but so that's just a little bit about myself. So again, I'm joined by my sister-in-arms, Trina, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Kylie, and thank you so much for putting on this amazing event and bringing all this amazing. I know we keep saying that, but these individuals on this panel are absolutely incredible. We're not going to do a thunder, but we will give a brief bio of each one if you do not know them yet. Again, my name is Trina. I still am in the military. I'm with the DC Air National Guard. I'm a recruiter, so if you have a son, cousin, nephew, niece, yes, call me, okay, for the recruiting, but that's not, what is it, flutter? Okay, yeah, that's not a flutter, I'm sorry, that was a flutter, okay. No, not at all, I apologize. So, also, I'm a recent graduate from Howard University with my MBA. You're a graduate too?
No, just hang.
Okay. Okay, I love that energy. We want to keep that energy up all throughout the night. So I'm again happy to be here, and I'm gonna leave over. We're gonna start the prayer or.
So again, I just really thank you all, and I think sometimes when we get in a big gathering, I think it's really awesome if we can take the opportunity to posture our hearts to receive the feedback everyone's going to have. So if you don't mind, just bow your heads for just say a little prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this building, for the space, for the time that you gathered us here today. You gathered us for this specific moment where we can celebrate each other and the great gifts that you've already given us. God, we thank you for Danelle and his wife and his family, for the calling that you placed on his heart to continue to serve, not just in uniform, but out. So God, we just thank you for that passion of service. God, we thank you for everyone who got here today healthy and safe. God, we pray that you take that with everyone on their way home and traveling mercies. And again, we just uplift all the people here, God, that you would see them and see their passion of service. And we just pray over the conversations that they are light and fruit-filling. Thank you, Father. Amen. Amen. All right, now it's done. All right, so this is such a spectacular part. Put together the notes and the bios. Oh, looks like we're gonna do a little switcheroo. Okay, the beatbox now. There we go. Yeah. It may happen. I had some of Dr. X's wine, so. All right. Oh, I like this. Oh, yes. So, again, I just welcome this panel, and we're going to get into it. I was challenged earlier I'm just gonna call this out, is challenged to really give an opportunity for this panel to go in deep. So we don't have just surface level conversations about topics that you've already probably heard at many command ceremonies. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, we're gonna have dialogue, and we hope that it means that to everyone here. All right, so without further ado, let's introduce this panel, right? I also want to know what everyone's wearing as well. Right, so I'm just kidding. All right, so Trina, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
So we have the incredible Michelle Garnett-Green, also known as GI, that was the pageant. Might not add, as a pageant girl myself, that was the perfect way. So she is Director of National Veteran Small Business Engagement, a retired U.S. Air Force, Colonel, that is, author, speaker, and small business champion with 3 decades of service to the military, members their families through the entrepreneurship. GI empowers businesses, fosters strategic partnerships, and champions underserved communities. And then next we have Michelle, Slay Queen, the deputy speaker admirer. She came to play. I'm gonna need those shoes by the end of the night. Okay, so, and then she's a 30-year U.S. Air Force veteran, personal brand expert, certified information consultant, you can help me later, author and founder of Slay to Success. Rochelle empowers women in public service and leadership to elevate their presence and own their leadership identity. Slay. And then next, we have Dr. Xavier, as we know, Dr. X. Bruce is the leadership not to be mistaken for Wakanda, okay? So Bruce is a leadership expert, veteran advocate, and resilient coach with 20+ years of military education and leadership experience. He is the founder and CEO of Uplift Resilience Academy, Assistant VP of Veterans Programs at GMDC, and commander of the NAVAC of Central Maryland, and retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel.
So next we have Michael B. Black, also known as check the mic. He's a senior cyber information technology leader with over 40 years of experience. I didn't mean to emphasize 40 like that. It became a little he is retired as a colonel and former commander of the White House Communications Agency, where he led over 1,200 person team in telecommunications support to the Executive Office of the President. He currently serves as Vice President for Defense at ASEA International. I've been to some of those events as well, they're great. A nonprofit organization fostering collaboration among government, industry, and academia in cyber defense and intelligence sectors. So, thank you, Michael. Oh yes, I want to know.
I have a Calvin Klein suit on. I got Reebok underwear on. I got Puma socks on. I got Cole Haan shoes on. And I got a Louis belt. Oh, and the shirt. I got the Veterans Growing America. Oh, and my mom is here. And my mentor's mom is here, Miss Willie Gardner.
Stealing our moment. We definitely want
Sorry
to.
about that. I just had to follow. My mentor brought her mom. We were on a call, so I followed suit. Okay?
We definitely want to recognize all the people that are here in support of the panelists. We know that it's important to stay together as a community and family. So again, thank you to all the family that's here. All right. And then we have Yolanda Tate. Yay, with those fashion glasses. I promise I'll try not to make it all about fashion, but I mean, we love it. We love it. We're gonna shop. We're gonna be here shop. All right, so a 30-year U.S. Army retired command, U.S. Army retired Command Sergeant Major turned tech leader, mindset coach, and wellness advocate. Chapter president of Virginia Blacks in Technology and founder of Elevate to Wellness. Yolanda is passionate about empowering veterans to step into tech careers by leveraging their military mindset and well-being. Yes, we'll keep it going. Yeah. She's wearing excellence. She's wearing dedication and passion and service. All things great.
My whole ensemble pretty much is from White House Black
And then last but not least, although he introduced himself, I just want to say from a personal standpoint, this amazing individual has helped so many folks here, amplified so many voices, and he also recently, unbeknownst to me, advocate for me for a very amazing position, a dream job. And he said you never know who's speaking about you in rooms when you're not there. So I want to introduce, again, last but not least, Danelle John. A retired senior command sergeant major and the first G1 human resource sergeant major for the Army National Guard. The first CEO and founder of Veterans for North America, a veteran and a military spouse advocate, executive coach, I want to say husband and father because those are amazing places he leads as well. And of course, the host of tonight's event. He probably asked the missus if this was okay.
She dressed me.
All right, everyone. So now that we're introduced to our amazing panel, we're going to just jump right in, and I'm going to turn the mic over to my
Alrighty, so we're going to get into our first question for tonight. Mental health hasn't been a common conversation in the Black veteran community. Look at that. How much of your success has been tied to mental wellness?
I'll step out. I mean, are we?
Oh, this
Yeah,
It's open.
yeah, it's not.
Well, I have a command philosophy it's founded on the 5 F's: family, fitness, flying, fairness, and fun. So let's go to the F, the fitness. Obviously, in the military, we have to be physically fit. There's a standard to meet in that. But what about your spiritual and mental fitness? Those have to be in balance. And for me, particularly the 3 times that I commanded, I made sure that my personal, mental, and spiritual fitness was in balance, but also my troops, my teammates. And I asked them, I wouldn't tell them what they needed to do to nurture their spiritual and mental fitness. I think that's personal. But if their spiritual and mental fitness was out of balance, I made sure that I let them know. But by the same token, I asked them to let me know if they thought my spiritual and mental fitness is out of balance. And so I did things to, and I still do things today to keep my spiritual and mental fitness in balance. For the last 5 years, at 6:30 every morning, I'm in a Christ Moves Now yoga class that's done by, led by a veteran, Dr. Stephen Redmond, Army lawyer and PhD type. I do that every morning. I've even brought my mom into some of those sessions, and so that's important to me. But if your spiritual and mental fitness is not in balance, you're not going to do yourself any good, and you're not going to do your teammates any good. And so that is something that was very important to me. I've been retired 13 years now. It's still important to me. I still talk about the 5 F's, one of which is fitness, and it's not just physical fitness, it's spiritual and mental fitness. You have to nurture that. Just like my grandfather was a farmer, and grandfathers, they nurtured crops, they had to till the soil, they had to know when to plant, they had to know when to fertilize. You have to nurture your spiritual and mental fitness for it to be in check. Check the mic. Yes, sir.
That was beautiful. Someone wanna add to that?
So I'm gonna do a different take a little bit. So, when we talk about black excellence, all of us are excellent up here. Everybody in this room is black excellence. And so when we talk about mental health, a lot of times us as leaders, we're always taking care of everybody else, but we don't take care of ourselves. And so for me, the way I want to answer that question is that it hit me hard as a command sergeant major. One of my jobs, I had to toot my own horn. I was the only female command sergeant major for Fort Bragg. I was the garrison sergeant major from 2012 to 2015. And during that time, I was responsible. It's like being the city manager. So you're responsible for everything on that installation. And Fort Bragg is one of the largest installations with a lot of things going on. And so I was constantly taking care of soldiers, service members, because it wasn't just Army. We had Air Force on there, Marines, we had everybody. Taking care of families, taking care of our civilians. I'm around the clock, making sure that everything is working right on installation. But when you're at the top a lot of times you're at the top by yourself. And being the only black command sergeant major female at that level, I was in rooms where I was the only female sometimes and the only black person. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. And I can tell you, there were times when I came home, I can remember one day that got me. I was at work 4:30 in the morning, I didn't get home until around midnight. And I hadn't eaten maybe I had some earlier in the day, but I was running so much that I wasn't taking care of myself. I was taking care of everybody else, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And so when I got home, it just hit me. You know, a lot of times as leaders, being in excellence, we don't want people to see us crack. So we look good on the outside, we smiling, we all happy and all that stuff, but then when you by yourself, it's a whole different story. And I got home and I just lost it. And I just fell on the ground, I just started shaking and crying. And at that point, I was like, I can't do this alone. And that is when I actually sought out therapy, to really look at my mental health. Because I was having all my soldiers, my service members, civilians go and seek therapy, but I wasn't doing it myself. So I felt like a hypocrite, and it all just hit me because I was so busy trying to take care of everybody else. So the only thing that I say is, as leaders, we got to take the time and make the effort to take care of yourself too. It's okay to take care of everybody else, but you can't, like they say, you can't pour into an empty cup. But you still got to make sure you pour your cup, so when you keep on pouring in, you can keep pouring out to other people, and so that's what I'm doing.
We have another question. So we all know how important community and mentorship can be. However, there's the Catholics, and those who say that they don't have time. Tell us how you find time to cultivate those types of relationships and mentors.
I want to jump in on that. Something, it's very intrinsic, I guess, to who I am. I don't mean, I'll talk about it. I was deep in thought. I think, first of all, we love how we've been loved, we mentor how we've been mentored, and we're coached how we've been coached. And there's a relationship that really kind of started my passion for mentoring. You know, my dad was one of the first Black Army Corps of Engineer officers. And, you know, he didn't even talk me to going into the Army. Basically, I went to Tuskegee at a time where you had to take ROTC or PE if you received federal funds. So I knew what the Army was doing. They was playing in the dirt. That's Slammer Girl. So when I got to Tuskegee and I saw these women recruiting in their light blue shirts and skirts, I said, oh, they look cute. I want to join them. Not knowing what I was joining. But he said, find a good senior NCO after I got commissioned. Find a good senior NCO and hold on to their coattail. And a white crusty, birth control wearing glasses. Y'all don't know what that is. That's back in the day. Them glasses are so burnt and ugly, you ain't getting none. That's what that is. I mean, so,
Break it down.
I just want to let them know that's what birth control glasses is. But Chief Ed Moran, adopted me. Chief Master Sergeant, and for the first 4 years I was in, I was the chief's lieutenant. The lieutenant, he was not the chief's, the chief was not the lieutenant's chief. I worked for him proudly because my dad told me, hold on to his coattail. He taught me how to lead. He taught me how to be technically competent, get into the regulations, the tech orders. He taught me how to behave. He taught me how to wear my uniform because for the first, 3 weeks I was there, I went home at 3:30. And he said, Lieutenant, why are you going home at 3:30? I said, well, that's 8 hours. He said, Lieutenant, we don't count lunch. But anyway, a bunch of those stories. But because he loved me in the way that he loved and mentored me, made me have a passion for enlisted troops, right? I have 12 Chief Master Sergeants that call me Air Force Mom. And what he taught me, he strategically and deliberately mentored. This wasn't haphazardly, let me just let people find me. No, there are stories people will tell you. I stopped them at a gas station. I saw them somewhere. I saw them in the Pentagon and said, you're the youngest Chief Master Sergeant I've ever seen. You need to come see me. I mean, Mike Black, they say to know me is to work. And how Mike and I got connected is because we were doing an event. Because I believe the highest form of leadership is service. And if you want to mentor someone in action, there's no better way than to do that while serving something greater than yourself. And so it gives me the opportunity to see, will they give like they were being paid for it or they're being rated for it? It gives me the opportunity to see how can they influence their peers. And it gives me an opportunity in real time to give them feedback, although that can be ugly sometimes.
I receive.
But I believe in tough love because if somebody don't love you, they don't want you to be your best. They're gonna just let it go by. And so what I have found, the bottom line is mentoring is a must. It is not, I was just talking with Mike and Donnell earlier, Donnell tonight, and Mike, I guess it was both today, about the importance of us mentoring the next generation. And in a strategic way, teaching them, not just helping them do what they want to do, helping them have skills that they need for the success of the future. And they don't have to be in the military for us to mentor them. Because the point we're at now, I don't want my children in the military. So those of us are successful because of what we learned in the military. Now we have an obligation to teach that to our civilian community, even though they haven't served, to benefit from our service.
That's beautiful. I'm going to pass it over. I just wanted to say that is so powerful to expand networks, like you said, not just to the veteran community, not just to military, but in, I don't want to say civilian population, but non-military populations. It helps connect us and unite us, and then they understand our purpose. So thank you for that. That was amazing. And I really want to piggyback off of what Yolanda said and that, because you stepped into those rooms and oftentimes you found yourself being the first or the onlys in those rooms. So as trailblazers, and this is again an open question, trailblazers in so many different fields, we have tech, cyber, entrepreneurship, coaching. Tell us how you show up to those rooms, authentically you. Out, the military boxing you in to what you think you need to be. We just want to know, how does that look for you guys?
Well, I think that was my question.
It
So, this is who I am, truly who I am, and it's been a journey, and I'm still on my journey. I think everyone who transitions from a conforming environment where everybody gotta look the same, you gotta make sure your hair is good, your makeup is good, your uniform is great. And when I transitioned, I really started to think of who I wanted to become, the woman that I wanted to become, and how would she show up? So it's been a gradual progression. My brothers in arms, they know. They see me, and it's one step more than it was before. Because I realize when I start showing up, other women start showing up too. So I get online, I'm on social media, LinkedIn is my tool, and I show up in such a way where now I can share stories. And the stories are really about my journey. And speaking to young women, or women that are in the military, or women that are transitioning out, the three pockets that I really think that are important for any person to know about is confidence level. Because when you're in the military, and you have built-in credibility. I can go to one base and got 4 people there. Oh, hey, we were at, so-and-so base. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh my gosh, you're a master sergeant. Oh my gosh, and it's already built in. When you don't have any structure, when you don't have any ranks, any titles or positions, who are you at the end of the day without that uniform? And so you have to take the steps to really figure out, and it's been an emotional journey for me. There are days when I'm crying, and there are days when I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel really great today, So I think it's confidence level. I think it's purpose, finding a new sense of purpose outside of the uniform, because you want to do things that are meaningful. Like, the Air Force was driving down the road, front seat, for 30 years. And I said, you know what? I want the Air Force to be in the back seat, looking outside the window. All right? I'm going to take control of my destiny, my narrative. I started to write. I wrote a first book about my journey in the military because I needed to decompress. I had a lot of frustration and some anger issues surrounded about some situations that happened. And I just started to really write about how I felt, what happened. And it's not a best-selling author at any length, but it was a way for me to start the journey, just really transition and be creative. And the other is having the presence. So this is why I decided to become an image consultant. I love fashion. I don't know why, but it is a thing.
With that bedazzled purse on your lap? No, none of us thought that at all.
But not just any fashion. I picked a color, and it's pink because of the extreme. Going from camouflage, boots, uniform. Pink in the military is not a thing.
Yep.
Okay? And so I said, what is the most extreme color that I can tolerate and still be able to show up as a leader? I don't have to say anything. I just walk into the room and I just do my business. And this lady is slaying. And I think that's great for us to do at any point in our lives. We can change the trajectory at any point. If I could do it at 30 years of service, anybody could do what I'm doing. It's just that you got to make the decision to just start and to do. And people will adjust. And so yes, I'm unapologetic.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that in, Dr., because you share stories through Uplift in your book and Base Go Boom. You share those stories. So I did want to ask you, what's your advice for those who struggle with owning their experience and then sharing it, whether that's the book or just in your meeting?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And to piggyback on Rochelle, you have to have a brand. And my brand is uplift your damn self. Now, some of you all, I know I ruffled some feathers, hence the eagle. that doesn't mean stop going to therapy, stop going to church, stop praying, but there's some things you need to do in the moment before you make irreparable damage and you get yourself in trouble. So that's my brand. So it's from the inside out. So everything I do, if you follow me on social media, you may see me on social media with music, with, I don't know if some of you all have tried the Uplift wine that's over there. That's not what and it's not a red and a white, it's a purple and a gold. But people may wonder, wait a minute, why? Well, guess what? Some of us veterans, we have some PTSD issues, we have some sleeping issues and so forth. And so instead of exactly, so a nice glass of wine, whether you like, red or white, can help you sleep at night, and not have those nightmares or what have you. So everything makes sense. So I wanted to, because I've written a few books, but I wanted to give that opportunity to other people. So I started an anthology. It's a fancy word for, hey, get 4 of your brothers and sisters to write a chapter in this book. So there's copies over there, but I also have, so in this anthology, there's 10 Black authors, and they're airmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines. I have a Space Force Guardian in chapter 3. But the whole, and Rochelle is in volume 1. Donnell's gonna be in volume 4. I got Mike in volume 2. So these are opportunities for them to share their stories. And it's gonna uplift those who read those stories. So, and it's cathartic to those who are sharing those stories and writing it down. They feel better. They may have never showed or shared those stories with anyone else, not even their spouse or their kids or their parents, but now I give them an opportunity to do that in the anthology. So it boils down to 3 things: inspire, empower. I said empower. Empower is when you give somebody else power, but empower is you give yourself power. And the 3rd thing is uplift
Amen. And so we talked about sharing stories, building up your inner self. So I want to talk a little bit more about the external, and specifically to Janelle. So you cultivated an external space, a physical space where people can come together, and it empowers veteran entrepreneurs. So what's one thing you wish more veterans, specifically Black veterans, understood about entrepreneurship before stepping into it?
That's a deep question, because there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to entrepreneurship. You can have an MBA. How many people got an MBA out here? How many feel like you have everything that it takes in order to start a business? The hands went down. It's one of those things where you just got to jump out there and do it. I don't have an MBA. I don't have a master's degree, but I do have the fortitude to put myself out there and also help others go out there. The one thing that made me a successful command sergeant major is it was never about me. It was about my people and how to allow them to shine. And so through what I'm doing now allows me to give other people a platform to showcase the stuff that they're passionate about. And if you're passionate about something, 9 times out of 10, you can sell it. And if you can sell it, you can make money. I'm old, right? I don't look that old, but I'm old. But back in the day, they used to sell this thing called a pet rock. You can sell somebody a rock, right? And people was buying them. They had commercials, all kind of stuff. They gave them names, they gave them all kinds of. Google it. Yeah, Google the pet rock. to people and make millions, you can sell something that you're passionate about. People are making crazy money on video games right now, playing it at their house. I see people on TikTok right now, all they're doing is sitting there talking about people, they're rating people's picture on TikTok. And this one girl got $500 off of telling people, you're 6, you're a 5, you're a 4. This is the truth. This is the truth. And so, all we're doing is giving people a platform to be able to tell their story and tell them about something that they're passionate about. And then we can bring people in and we can talk about whatever it is that they love. We all are wearing clothes right now. You bought them from somebody. Why not buy them from us? Why can't you buy your own brand? Somebody will wear it. Look, my brand is on him right now. So I'm never scared to put myself out there. I was a DC National Guard recruiter myself. I was on the Army side. I'm a Captain Guardian. And I found out that if I could sell people on joining something intangible, where basically they said that they will die for this country, I can sell anything. I can sell rocks, socks. You don't believe me? Walk over there. We got socks. You know, I can go on TikTok. All I got to do is be confident about what I have. How do you think we in here? They called me to open up a space here based off of how confident I was about our brand, right? This brand was no brand before I left the military, but I believed in our brand so much that we're in a second shopping center. Look at God.
I want to make sure those socks are not there. Right?
Not these specific.
But like you were talking about confidence, because that's key right now for everyone in this room, right? To walk boldly in confidence, even though maybe online or news makes you feel like you can't. So on that note, I guess this question is more particularly for GI and Michael, because right now there's a lot of frustration, fear, and even anger around a lot of shifts in the E&I. And we're not going too deep in it because we want to make sure they have the opportunity to tell us, but we see this specifically in government and defense contracting, which both of these amazing individuals are powerhouses in. So with some opportunity shrinking, that fear kind of lingering, what do you want to say to anyone who's looking into Black veteran entrepreneurship in the contracting space, or just in general, from your experience?
I believe there's opportunity in chaos, destruction, disaster, all have opportunity. And it's really about how you think about it. I remember reading about COVID, right? When COVID first started, I'm going to use this as an example. And they were saying, oh my God, how are we going to store the vaccines? I see opportunity in everything. I don't care what it is. I see an opportunity and a way to make money. It's a gift. First thing I said is, oh my God, somebody ought to go buy a bunch of cold storage trucks and transport these vaccines from one place to another. If there is a problem, if there is an issue, if there is a need, I call it Uncle Sam. Solve a problem, address an issue, meet a need. If you're not doing that, you're not in business. It's not about you. Don't go there saying, I'm the best IT, I'm the best this. No, you're not. What makes it? No, you're not. You are not. You're not special and you're not unique. What you do is not unique. That's what I'm going to say. What you do is not special. What makes it special is you. That thing, there's another IT, another somebody that does what you do. But what makes it special is you. But it only makes it special if you solve a problem, address an issue, or meet a need. So I personally think that there is opportunity. There's opportunity, contracts with, so there's a lady who called me, and we're working on a consulting deal, and she said, I've been with you for 3 years, right? So I do a co-host a big girl $1 million, that's $1 million to $50 million group, and we go on retreats every year. Then we do CEO roundtables for 6 months. And she said, everything you told me to do, I did. And she said, as a result, my business is fine. You told me to drill in my own backyard, and I mean that. So if you live here, there's opportunity here. If there's a building under construction, there's opportunity. They're gonna need courier services, landscaping services, painting services. They're gonna need retail services. They're gonna need all IT. If construction and movement is happening, there is opportunity. So my big thing to you is that opportunity is around. You've got to silence the noise. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know, I've been struggling because I've been like, I gotta make sure I put something out positive. So I've been posting. But I did the thing about silencing the noise. Lord, let me hear your voice. Okay, so silencing the noise, that means the only way you silence the noise is to deaden it, to turn it down, to turn it off, right? To focus what's in your heart, okay? Because what your money is in your heart, what you're passionate about. You heard Donnell talk about the reason he's successful because he believes in what he's talking about. Unequivocally, if he makes one dime or doesn't, it doesn't change what he believes in and what he wants to do. That's the reason why he's successful. You can only sell a vision if you believe it's in your heart. Because when it gets tough, you're still going to do it. And God says where there's vision, there's provision. That's why it's important to deaden the noise, bring it down, and to focus. And to seek God. I'm in a period of like, God, what do you want me to do? I can do a lot of things. But just because you can, we know that in the military. Lord Jesus, we can do anything. Anything. But it doesn't mean that's our thing. So, and the second thing I want to say is, your opportunity is in people. God sends blessings through people. It ain't gonna just fall down in your lap, okay? And that lady I told you about, she's doing business on the corporate level. She's doing business at the local level. She's doing business at the state level. Because she called me crying, white lady, okay? I love y'all, but, you know, sometimes y'all don't listen. They'll take it. See, she's not paying for it. She's not paying for it. She understood the value. That's why she's trying to pay me now. Because she understands the value of what she got when she wasn't paying for it. But what she did was she had to put in the work, though. Right? But she called me crying about VA this, and VA won't give me this, and VA, and I just want to help the veterans. I said, why are you trying to help somebody that doesn't want your help? I said, here's what you do. I said, you know that guy in high school that jock, you wanted him, I always talk to the women like this, because that's why I love talking to women. I said, you know that jock that he wasn't thinking about you. He wanted the cheerleader and all that. You were the girl in the corner. I said, let 10 years go by. Go back to the homecoming reunion. No. And baby, hair done, nails done, new dress. And he's like, ooh, girl, you're woman now. That's how it works in business. They don't want you now, but go off and do your thing, perform, get past performance. When you come back, they ready for you, okay? And they gonna treat you right. So the biggest thing I'm trying to say is opportunity is there. We can't look at the negative. We can't control what is happening. What we can control is what we can do. And we can control participating and supporting businesses like this, supporting each other. What about doing business together? Money is money. And I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm going to be quiet. There's a concept around responsibility, risk, and reward. You know why we can't work together? Because we think if we lay this rug down here, we're supposed to make money off of the whole thing. No, your job is to put this rug down here. And that might be 1% or 0.5% of the profit. Because see, if you look at a football team, the owner of the team makes billions. People, oh, the owner makes billions. During COVID, the owner still had to pay the mortgage. They still had to pay all the people. They still had to pay all the expenses. So the grass cutter, and they make more than most landscapers, is not going to make what the owner of the team made, because he didn't have the risk, he didn't have the responsibility, so he don't get the reward. So when you're teaming with people, when we're working together, we got to say, how much risk did I have? How much responsibility did I have? And that equals how much reward I get. And stop thinking that we should get 50% when our contribution was 1. Okay, so 50% of something is better than 0% of nothing. And that's what we have to think of as a community. So you can tell it's something I'm very passionate about, but I'm not going
A couple of things that I want to mention in this. Talking about knowing your purpose. There's a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. It's by Pastor Rick Warren. The updated version of the book has 42 chapters in it. It opens with the scripture or two in every chapter. But I started reading this book just before COVID, because we were doing our Christ Moves Now yoga class and we give a summary of the chapter every day. And so today is the 28th of February, so we were on day 25. I just remember we're 3 days behind on the calendar. And one of my partners gives a summary Wednesday through Saturday, and then I do Sunday through Tuesday. But as I read that book, I've said 5 years now, so you can do the math, 42 chapters, 365 days times 5 divided by 42 will tell you how many times I've read the book. A lot. And I started understanding my purpose in life. And my purpose in life is I'm a connector. That's what I do. And I'm good at it.
You're excellent at it.
I am excellent at it. And I will tell you about, connections. I didn't invent this phrase, but I subscribe to this. Okay, who knows the difference between contacts and contracts? And I know you know, I know all these folks, you guys are rude, okay? But anybody else in the audience, is there somebody, just be honest, if you've never heard that? Never heard that, okay. How do you spell those two words? Contacts and contracts. They are spelled almost identical, right? The only difference is the R in contracts. And guess what the R stands for? I heard it. Relationship. So, okay, I'm going to say this 2 times. Okay? Because when the teacher foot stomps something, it's on the test. Okay? I'm going to say it 2 times. Your contacts can get you contracts if you have the right relationship with your contacts.
Yes.
Your contacts can get you contracts if you have the right relationship with your contacts. Now that contract can be a multi-million-dollar contract. It can be an end to something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical contract, but relationships are important. Okay, you build those relationships. And I told you my grandfather was a farmer and nurturing those relationships. Okay, so you can't meet somebody today and then 10 years from now and not having talked to them and ask them for something. You can't. You also can't go up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Mike Black. You got $1 million for me?" That's not going to go over well. But if you build up that relationship over a period of time, and when we start to do things together, like G.I. said, and when we're going to do that 1 + 1 is more than 2. This is the science aspect, synergistic effect of where 1 + 1 is more than 2. Okay? So that means you get a lot more out of it when you start working together. And so it's important. Relationships are important. And that's what has helped me in life. I am today working with people that I met when I first came into service. I'm working with my old boss at the White House Communications Agency. He was the White House Military Office Director. I do an event with him with 12,000 people in San Diego. He hired me when I became the commander of the White House Communications Agency in 2009, and now I'm working with him. Okay, he comes over and visits our organization. After he shakes the CEO's hand, he comes and gives me a big hug and says, "It's so good to see you again, Mike. You know how that made my CEO feel?" I'm like, "Man, we in." I mean, those are things that are important. So relationships are important. Last thing I'll say, when you're the first to do something, this is another one that's on the test. When you're the first to do something, you have a duty and responsibility to ensure you're not the last. Okay? I am the first African-American Air Force commander of the White House Communications Agency. Before I leave this earth, I have to ensure that there's another African-American Air Force commander of the White House Communications Agency. So my work is not done. I did have an African-American Army colonel come a few people after me, but I made my goal to make another Air Force person. And I really want an Air Force female, African-American female, to command that unit. Okay, so my work is not done. A life is like a football game, 4 quarters. Every quarter is 20 years for me. So I'm entering the 4th quarter. I'm 62 years old. Okay, and so about 80 years old. But I'm going to play overtime and probably double. I'm probably going to do double overtime. So I got some time. But set those kind of goals for yourself. Again, if you're the first, make sure you're not the last.
Thank you so much for that.
Can I ask Mike a question that I think would be better?
Yeah.
Okay. You are outstanding at connecting. Tell us the secrets.
Well, I think part of the secret is my parents and my grandparents. My parents are really good at connecting, and that's where I learned over the years. Being a military brat and moving around. Incidentally, GI's dad and my dad were at Tuskegee at the same time, so our dads knew each other before we knew each other. So we were destined to be great together. But I think over the course of the years, really, I learned that from my parents. And then as I reflected on this book that I'm reading, and I understood what my purpose is, I really embraced that. Okay, and I do that, and I do things to connect. I mean, if you're friends with me on social media, some of you have been in my current situation. Some of you will be in my current situation after this event. And if you don't know what that is, then you need to come up and ask me, can I be in your current situation? And then you'll figure out how valuable that is for you. But it's important to do that. And I embrace that, GI. I see the value, and I just try to share that. But
when you connect with people, like, there are people, I'm an extrovert, right, for the most part. But what is it that you do to make people want to be connected to you?
Right.
To want to work with you?
I think
to help
that's a great question. I think excellence. Okay, people want to be around excellence. Okay, and I try to do excellence. I try to surround myself with excellence. I have a positive attitude. Okay, and I think that's important. People want to be around people that are positive. And I'll share this. I don't talk about this a lot. Okay, my line name when I pledged Omega Psi Phi. Okay, my line name was Frumpy. Frumpy. That's plain and unfashionable. Okay, I was like, what the? Because you don't make your own line name. So people thought I was plain and unfashionable. And I'm like, that's spring '89. Okay? I said, I am vowed not to be a plain and unfashionable dog. Okay? So I changed that. Now, you can't change your line name, but I'm not from.
All right.
Can I ask
Yes.
it makes him a valuable connection, right? And so this is something that I witnessed. So Mike not only knows people, and I think it's called 6 degrees of separation, but Mike shows up. I'm gonna say that one more time.
Shows up.
He shows up. It's not about, y'all see him, and I'll tell you what the situation is, but the situation is that he showed up. And then he shares and tells people about you and the gifts that you're offering the world. And so if you're not willing to show up and share, you're not gonna help anybody out. And so that's what he does, is he shows up and shares. So I just wanna thank you for showing up and sharing.
It's always about the other person.
Thank you. They still elaborate.
So, for time to make sure that, we want to also open up the opportunity for everyone here to ask, one of the panelists any questions or follow up on any questions you might have. So I'll let Trina lead the live Q&A.
Alrighty, so are we still getting our last out? Okay, go ahead and get them out. That was good, guys. And this is the time we want to create, but as we wrap up the program, we want to open it up to the floor. We've asked some questions. What questions do you have for the panelists? Don't be afraid. We're family, right? Okay.
I don't have a question, but I do want to make a statement. I really, really appreciate you guys coming together and sharing this information. Really, really appreciate that. Just what we're doing as a community for each other and understanding that, and it's been mentioned multiple times, you don't have to be that person. Just be a player or a part of that, right? And that's what we need to understand, and as we try to help each other out, it makes us all stronger if we understand that. So appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
For all of you, if you would care to answer, what would you tell your younger self when you were in the military, now that you know where you are at this part of your journey?
I'll go ahead and start. I tell this to all young people, and I would tell myself too, and it was kind of mentioned up here already. Number one, be present in everything that you do. And when I say be present, understand that your presence speaks volumes. You can go into a room and create space in that room without saying anything. Anything, just the way that you carry yourself. Have pride in yourself. Have that confidence. And when people say fake it till you make it, no, don't fake it. Because people can see when you're fake. You need to walk in it proudly, hold your head up high. And if you don't know something, that's okay. You can learn it. It's all about continuous learning. So be present is number one. The other thing that I would say is know how to control your energy.
No.
I talk about energy. We all talk about time management. Yes, we need to understand that time is precious and valuable, but your energy is even more important. Where are you expending your energy and where you don't need to expend it? So that means that we need to regularly be evaluating, reevaluating, allocating where we need to spend our energies. That's people, places, and things.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if people, places, and things do not add or multiply value to your life, then you need to know where you need to reallocate that energy or cut it off. Because it's holding you back. And sometimes that's hard, because sometimes that may be family members that talk negative or bring you down and things of that nature. You can still love people from afar, but if they taken away from your energy, you're not going to be able to get to a level of excellence, because you're always going to be pouring into other people and they're not pouring into you. And so that's why I say learn how to manage your energy. And then the last thing, be grateful.
Yes.
Be grateful for everything. I mean, every morning for me is all about getting up, praying, thanking God, meditating, sitting in silence for at least 10, 15 minutes, just so you can just really soak in the present moment and get your mind and your soul right for the day, so that you can be intentional with your actions, so that you can make good decisions. And when I say about gratitude, it's little things every single day.
Yes.
I'm telling y'all, right now, I'm sitting here, I'm grateful because I see these beautiful ladies over here. And I know they got wonderful stories to tell us. We're up here, but we should be listening to them. And that's like me, just feeling their energy over here is just giving me a lot, and I'm grateful for. I see y'all out in this audience. And so I'm just saying now, be present, know how to control your energy, and be grateful.
That question was too powerful.
There's some people.
I just want to piggyback on the energy part. The reason I said amen, I couched it a little bit differently, but it's still accurate. Perfect energy, right? I think every black woman should take acting classes. Manage your face. If I can tell my young, I lost out more opportunities by my face. First it was my mouth. Then when I learned the technique to bite my tongue so I didn't speak, the face did not change. The face was still, one sergeant major told me, chief said, he said, ma'am, you know you're a shopping mall of facial expressions. But you know, just all the different. But when we wonder why our bosses don't like us, when we wonder why they don't support us, our non-verbals have told them we don't like them, that we don't believe what they're saying, we're not supportive. So if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be learn to manage that face. And I'm still working on it now. But it would be manage that face. It would be, instead of working 12 hours a day, work, or 15 hours, save 5 for myself to work on my business. That's what I would do. Everything that frustrates you, that makes you cry, that you think is wrong, is your business. What breaks your heart is your business. And the best time to figure out your business is when you're on the inside. So when they won't listen to you, and you have the solution, you know the solution, write it down. Write where the money comes. Write who influences the money. Write who influences the decisions. Then you have the basis of your business plan when you get ready to step on the other side and you go back and sell it to them. That is what I would tell myself.
I want to add one thing to this, and then I do want to get to your question.
I have one more thing to add.
That's a great question. I would say pay attention, okay? And what I mean by this, I'm just give you a very quick vignette. I told you I went to the Air Force Academy, entered the academy in the summer of '81. But the process to get into the academy is quite competitive, okay? My mom, Rutia M. Black, Rutia McCann's Black, my mom did everything for me to get an appointment to the academy. Okay, this is back before we had computers, so you had to type up your application. My mom was a secretary, could type over 100 words a minute with no errors. She put my package together. She did everything for me to get an appointment to the Air Force Academy. All I did was sign my name and write my essay, but my mom corrected it to put it in the right format. So paying attention, as I look back, and I saw, and I see everything that my mom did, okay? I didn't see it at the time, but she did everything. So my mom got the appointment to the Air Force Academy. She did. And I just went in her stead. But pay attention in life so that you don't miss your blessing. I am so scared of missing a blessing. That's why my head is on a swivel. That's why I'm everywhere. I don't want to miss anything because I know there's a blessing there. And sometimes God gives you a second chance. He'll say, okay, I'm going to make you bump into Donnell again because you didn't get it the first time that you guys were there. So I'm going to make sure you bump in. And we bumped into each other at a coffee shop. We were there to do something else. Okay, I'd already known, but I needed to see him, and I hadn't seen him. And so I'm thinking to myself, not a coincidence.
Yep.
But what is it? I'm paying attention. I'm supposed to be getting something out of it. So I encourage you to meet 5 people in
Yep.
here tonight that
Yep.
you don't know and stay in touch with them, nurture that relationship, and then come back and see me in 10 years and tell me what happened. I guarantee you there will be some big things that happen with that connection.
Did you want to follow, Rochelle?
I would tell my younger self to speak up. My dad was very dominating. Whatever he said was the way. So when I went in the military, I was very silent, I was very quiet. Because I didn't want to get in trouble, I didn't want to get yelled at, I didn't want to get dismissed, I didn't want to get fired. But I realized that being silent wasn't going to protect me. So I had to find my voice. And it was really hard at the very beginning because I realized that I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to say it. So even when it's shaky, even when you don't feel like you have the right words, even when you don't feel like you're even up to it, you gotta say something. And so I had to challenge myself, and that's why I'm now speaking a lot. I speak, because I don't want to have anything to like distract me from not speaking again. I don't want to lose my voice. So my younger self would just be, speak up.
We have one more question.
Okay, so I'm Keenan Ward. I just want to check, is there any other Navy people in here? Because I've been hearing a lot of Air Force, Guard.
They're still on the show.
I need some backup. Anyway, very good question. I think it's kind of a piggyback, but my question would be, a lot of times they say we fail our way to success. Unless we're all successful, we're celebrating excellence, veteran excellence today. But if you could talk about that failure that you had to learn from, what is it that you failed at that helped you kind of grow to get you to where you are today? In business. I don't want to go too far back. I don't want to
See, when I was.
That's when I was a private.
I'll answer it and, Dad chime in too, if I know. So I started out my business thinking that I had to do leadership. Because that's what I left off when I was in the military. And Todd's back there, he's my brother in arms, and he's been with me for a minute. So I was out there, I'm a leadership coach, okay, y'all? So I'm out there, and nobody was calling me, nobody was paying attention. And I was like, where is everybody? You want something. For real, 30 years of leadership I can offer. And so I had to take a step back and really think about what people were saying about me, like why they were coming to me for the other things. And Todd was the one that actually said it first. He texted me on the side, and we messaged, all of us messaged, just to check on each other. And he said, hey, your personal brand is on point. Like you the whole brand. You should just lead with that. And I said, huh? That's not leadership. He's like, man, but you know what? It's gonna be in the back. But you can offer it when you actually put the one thing in front. And as soon as I made the statement that I'm a personal brand expert, all the doors started to open up. But I had to struggle for that's not even struggle. I think it was it's the journey. As an entrepreneur, you're really trying to solve the problem, and we think we have the problem, but really we don't, when we don't see opportunities coming to us. So it's just really I love paying attention, but really seeing what people are saying that you do so well, that you can do in your sleep, and that you can help others to get where they need to go. So that was mine.
I would say I didn't know how to spin. So spin is an acronym. I'm all about acronyms. Spin. The the essence for strength. Like, what is your strength? Like, what are you good at, like naturally good at, versus what you have to go and get a whole bunch of training and you're failing at it time and time again. What are you strong at? So strength. He is passion. What are you passionate about? Or are you just doing it just to be doing it, or because your parents did it, or what have you? What do you really like doing? To the point where time just melts away. You don't even want to go use the restroom. You forget to eat. That's when you know you're passionate about something. The I is, what is income generating? Because you can do all these different things and volunteer, but it's not bringing in any money. And you're going to burn out, you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to quit. And then the N is what is needed. What's a known need? You may think someone needs it, but do they know they need it? So that's why I label it a known need. So that's where I failed at the beginning, but now I have those 4 things squared away.
Let me have to use that.
Okay. Spend, strength, passion, income generating, needed.
I'll say one thing for you, sir. This is not so much business related, but I think it's a great example of failure. I said I was a commander of the White House Communications Agency. I was in Brazil with President Obama, putting together a conference call, a secure conference call with the President, the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Commander of AFRICOM, and then all the other strat makers that are on there. And we were in the palace in Brazil, and I get the conference together, I hand the phone to President Obama. When he's getting ready to tell them, you can drop bombs on Libya. That's what he was gonna tell them. Hand him the phone. He gets on, I don't think they can hear him. That's a communicator's worst nightmare, right? Can you hear me now? And so we had a problem with that call. And then I went to a secure cell phone, handed him the cell phone, got the conference up, and then he starts talking. He says, I don't think they can hear me. So that was a failure, right? I mean, we have to have calm radio every single moment. I got back to Washington, D.C. I had an appointment with the Deputy Secretary of Defense. We sat by rank in the room. There was like 12 of us in the room. I'm a colonel, but I sat at the end of the table because I was the lowest ranking person in there. And he asked, the Deputy Secretary of Defense asked what happened, and why did we have this problem? Now, I had been told not to say anything in that meeting. That's what my bosses, that's what the general officers told me. Be quiet, we got this, don't say anything. And so, get in there, the person that told me to be quiet, when they asked the question, they said, now, Colonel Black can tell you what happened. Same person that told me not to say anything. Okay? And I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm not going to say who it is. Okay?
He'll tell us later.
But I explained everything that happened. The Deputy Secretary of Defense flipped it on him. He's like, well, sound like we, had a pretty hard conference to put together. The Secretary of Defense was on a plane coming back from Russia. The Secretary of State was in New York. The Chairman was not available, so the Vice Chairman was in the Pentagon. The Commander of AFRICOM was in Stuttgart. The National Security Advisor and the White House Chief of Staff and the President were all in Brazil. So he turned to all of them and said, well, we need to get Colonel Black and his team some better equipment. And that's when we went to doing everything over IP, voice over IP. So I come back from the meeting, my team is like, sir, did you get fired? And, all this kind of stuff. And I didn't know, got about $500,000 for new equipment. So I took that failure, explained what happened, and I came back with about $500,000, and that's the way we started doing business as voice over IP.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Catherine, but I go by MK. I'm probably, I don't know if I'm the only active duty in here, I don't know, but I am a active duty Air Force E-18 Master Sergeant. Yay! But I find myself being distracted by some of my passions that I have. While I still know that I have other, places and room to grow, still while active duty. What wisdom do you all have of finding the balance between remaining committed to what I'm not finished with yet, but also I can't stop thinking about the next thing?
Let me ask a couple of clarifying questions. So are those things in the military or are they out? of
They're
the-
outside of the military, completely
So
non-affiliated.
this
have
thing
nothing
that
to
you
do-
can't let go of is outside of the military?
Yes, and I find ways to substitute, so it's all creative based, so I find ways to substitute this creative thing in my belly with things that can be connected to my job, in personnel, so that's actually very easy. But at some point, that only feeds me so much, but I do know that I'm not finished yet. I still have some time to go, that's another reason why I'm not finished, but even with the time, I still want it to be valuable, and I still want to succeed. But I also am just extremely distracted, it could be ADHD, I don't know. I'm extremely distracted about these other things that, are just completely disconnected and not affiliated or have anything to do with the university.
So, this is a really deep question, because we all have passions and you still have time in the military, but I will tell you this, you can still go ahead and work on that passion while you serve in the military. Now, what you have to do now is still, you know that your mission comes first in the military. Let's be real. You got orders, you got all that stuff that you got to priority. That's the priority. However, you can still be working and building your business, having your business plan, working around, getting in groups like this, being a part of Veterans Growing America, where you can get around other veteran entrepreneurs who have been there and done that, so that you have that community, because what you're gonna need is that community to help you. And then also where, Colonel Black was talking about those connections, making sure you're developing those relationships with people who are already entrepreneurs, who are veterans, so that you can continue to learn and grow from them. Now, being distracted, you gotta learn how to focus in on what you wanna do. And one thing, when you was talking about failures, when he brought up that question, is one thing that we do, because we all have a lot of different passions and things that we're good at, and we're all over the place. You gotta figure out what's that one thing that you're good at, that you can actually concentrate on, and that's gonna do that spin acronym that's around that one thing, instead of trying to do 50 million things at one time. And then the other thing too is who you surround yourself with. So again, like I said, you need to get into a good community that's gonna uplift you and continue to help you continue to grow with those passions and with your business, so you can continue to grow that business as well.
I have something to offer too, for MK. So when, in my last role, and then the pandemic hit and all this other craziness, so I think it was like maybe 6 months before I retired, and I realized that the military, they not gonna miss me when I go. Nobody's gonna call me, and sure enough, my phone was not ringing or anything when I retired. So I took that time and really started, that's when I wrote my first book, because I was like, man, I have a few hours on my hands. I could just write some things out, and I created like a little plan for me to write so many words out a day, and it let me wonder and dream. So you're like the dream dabble do, all right? You're dreaming of something to do, dabble in it, for a few hours when you get off of work, and then take some action. I got my certification as a motivational speaker while I was in the Air Force. I just went online, I was curious. And so those are the things that are going to help you when you transition, because you have something. That's what happens when veterans, some don't have anything. And that's when you go into the bottom, into the valley, because you don't realize what you like, you don't know what to do, and you're just walking around, aimlessly walking around, talking to yourself, right? But you have some things, so take some time carve out some time at the end of the day to do it, realizing that you have to do the work too. But this is your opportunity, because you're almost at the end, Queen.
Yes.
All right, so senior master sergeant, you're gonna come chief, and then you're gonna be gone. So, a few more years.
How long have you been in? 18.
Oh, yeah. Go.
So MK,
I did my, long story short, I did my GI Bill for my daughter late, so I'm here until 29, so I got a little bit of time, so.
and we're gonna make sure we make that R from that contracts and contacts with everybody else. So we got one more question that we're gonna be able to take.
Oh, actually, we need to connect her with Jay through Act Now Education. That'll be an excellent resource for you, for your daughter, and for you while you're still active. And, it's for active duty, people that are looking for both entrepreneurship, but need resources for you and your daughter now.
For them contacts.
So we just really want to thank everyone, especially the one who participated in this Q&A session, to really take in everything that we received and apply it to maybe some plans and goals that we have. There's more that all these panelists have to offer, so please make sure you connect with them. They all have active LinkedIn, so if you walked in here and you didn't have a LinkedIn, you're going to probably be walking out with one, so make sure you connect. And did you want to say anything?
Sure, I'll just say one last thing. Oh, yes, yes.
No,
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
You right.
Oh, I'm telling you,
because y'all be.
Yeah.
Can we give each of the panelists a few last words?
Oh, okay, yeah. A few last words for the panelists.
Go ahead.
A few last words for the panelists.
Okay, so for me, one of my big things that I do with veterans that I tell them is that I help them to transform their mindset so that they can go from unsure to unstoppable in a lucrative career when it comes to tech. And so the reason why I say that is because there are a lot of opportunities in technology. And when we talk about technology, it's just not about coding. It's a whole lot more that's to it. Every industry needs some kind of technologist in it. And so when we talk to our young people, we need to let them know, yes, I want them to go to college and get an education, but there are other opportunities out there for them to get certifications in technology. There is emerging tech. We have a lot of young people that are in, like, doing the gaming and all that stuff. Well, if they're good with games, then they can go ahead and do stuff in the metaverse. They can do stuff with AI. They can learn different things that's going to get them the money that they need so that we can close that wealth gap. And so I would just tell everybody, for last word, is that when we look at different industries, even with us that are older now, we all need to continue to mentor, to continue to reach out and talk to our young people. And when we talk to them, one thing I was just telling earlier to Callie, that when I talk to young people, I'm trying to learn from them too. So it's not just us talking to them, giving them advice, it's for us so we can learn what the younger generation is going through so that we can share with them and they can share with us so we can be more understanding. Because a lot of times we can get our ways because we're older and we can be like, oh, well, I can't relate to that. Oh, young people don't know what they're doing. Young people don't understand. No, they do understand. I have so much hope in our young people. Because there are a lot of young people today that are in the military, that's not in the military, that are doing some great things. So we only hear all the bad stuff that's out there. So I would just encourage all of us to wrap our arms around our younger generation.
And I would just ask you to finish this sentence for me. Inspire, empower, and uplift
Your
your
damn self.
Okay, I'm a whole thing. There's a whole thing going on with me, all right? I have talk shows, I have books that I've written, and this is not to boast or brag or anything, it's to make it more accessible for us to use these platforms. and to really brand ourselves. And when I say brand, it is not websites, logos, and colors and all this other stuff that people wanna allude to. It's who you are at your core and the perception that you're making to the world. When you go into any kind of space, what is it that you want them to say about you when you're not in the room? And I feel like this is a spiritual journey. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for someone who just wants to just get it done and just move on to the next. It's really truly investing in yourself. And I know that sometimes we don't invest. When we hear invest, we hear money, and we're like, I don't want to do all that.
They want free,
You
free
know,
99, free 99.
Right? And you show up with free 99 energy.
True.
That's what
That's
happens.
true.
All right, so I realize too that you cannot discount yourself. I'm not the back room closet. When you come to me and you're asking me to help you, there's no discounts because we give discounts to our friends and to our family. But when we have businesses where we're reporting taxes, right? I don't want to be in there. I ain't made no money this year. I'm sorry. You know, that's not what I generate money for. I generate it so that way I can do more. All right. So branding yourself is not about showing off or anything like that. And I think when we're as veterans, sometimes we look at it as we're just doing too much. We didn't do that when we were in the military. We didn't have to show off or whatever. If you're in a business, guess what? You want to be top of mind. You don't want them to forget you. So creating that for yourself, it can happen for anybody at any time.
Hey, I gotta go after all of that. So I will say, CPR yields CPA, right? Consistent, predictable results, consistent, predictable action yield consistent, predictable results. What are you consistently doing on a daily basis, and what are the results that you're getting at the end of that? And if it's not the results that you want, change the things that you're doing on a daily basis. But you gotta be consistent. I know every Sunday, I will find, wait, you laughing?
It's true,
Every Sunday, when I turn on LinkedIn, I know where I'm gonna find Rochelle. Every Wednesday, I know where I'm gonna find GI, right? What are you doing consistent where your people and your customer can find you? Where can they find you? And if they're not finding you, it's because you're not consistent. And if you're afraid to be consistent, don't do it at all. Because once you started, you gotta keep going. Right? What if McDonald's opened up whenever they wanted to?
Stop.
What if they opened up whenever they wanted to? They wouldn't have any customers. And so when you do decide to open your business, if that's something that you want to do, you got to be consistent. And those actions have to be predictable. They got to be able to find you so you can get the results that you want. Over and over and over and over again. That's how they found me. Because I'm consistent. I'm almost consistent as exhausted. Right? But you're going to be able to find me at Veterans Growing America, one of my spots or online. You're going to be able to see me, and you see me every day. I'm going to ask y'all to pull out your phones, and I'm going to ask y'all to follow Veterans Growing America. Once you follow me, you'll find out how consistent I am. I'm gonna hit you every day until you show up. Right? It may be one day, it may be 2 days, but you're gonna show up. You're gonna be like, man, I saw you online. I see you all the time. Right? I see you all the time sometimes. But we're consistent, and it's a positive message, right? And it's really not me. I'm out here promoting other brands. It's not about me. And so if you turn me off, you turn other veterans off. All I need you to do is like, share, and comment. That's all I need you to do. You may not be able to buy, right? Social capital. Like, comment, and share don't cost you nothing. and you're opening up doors because somebody needs what we have to offer. Somebody needs it. I need y'all to do it, right? You'll be able to save somebody's life by being consistent. Somebody may need to hear what you have to say. You may not think it's valuable, but understand it is very valuable. Your voice is powerful. Open yourself up and be consistent. And to MK, you're in a position right now that you can provide so much value by allowing those around you, empowering them to do what you're supposed to do. You're an EA, right? You know what your job is? To empower people to do their job. Let them do their job while you take care of yourself. You're at a point right now within your career where you can inspire and influence and empower people. Do that and take care of yourself. It's 8 hours in a day. Excuse me, 24 hours in a day. Take 8 of them for yourself.
All right, 5 things. Real quick. I already said it. Contacts and contracts, okay? If you're the first, make sure that you're not the last, okay? Don't be scared to do anything. Don't be scared to do anything, okay? I'm all about the social media and pictures, okay? If you took pictures of us up here, I want those pictures. I want those pictures before I leave. Because I do. Because it's gonna be part of my current situation. So if you took pictures and I'm in your picture, okay, make sure I get the picture before we leave. Okay? Renita has already sent me pictures. I saw them on my watch and I thank you for that. Finally.
I want them too.
Yes, all of us. Finally, shout out to our moderators. And shout out to our hosts. Alright, that's the 5 things.
Let me just say, first of all, my mother, right, I call it the OD, the original diva. Right? My love for service came from her. Community leadership. My dad was a great leader, in his own right. But my mother provided an environment for me and my brother to thrive, to believe in ourselves. We grew up our entire youth life where my dad was the only black officer on the post. I was the only black officer's kid in my high school. But yet my mother always made me feel there was nothing wrong with me. The blacks didn't like me because your dad's an officer's kid, you think you're better. The whites didn't like me because you're black, so I was in this so I grew up in this no man's land, and I learned to love myself early. And I want to say thank you, Mom, that she was the one that encouraged me and said, there's nothing wrong with you, there's something wrong with the world. The next thing I want to say is about brand. Y'all don't know I took my brand to the next level. I bought an Army Green Hyundai Santa Fe with camo handbrakes. So I'm just saying, if you see me, everything is camo green. You see my purse, you see my shoes, and people give me things. Somebody gave me that purse. Because the reason I'm saying branding is like dropping breadcrumbs, and eventually it makes a loaf of bread. People will go, oh, gee, I saw this. I'm gonna give this to you. I got long leather Army Green gloves. I got hats. I got that. People just think of me and my mom gave me some camo tennis shoes, but it's about the brand. I just gave them a color and a theme to follow, but the brand is who I am. You're always gonna get service. You're always going to get excellence. you're always going to get me trying to help my community. And I think it has a lot to do with, because I felt shut out most of my youth, I always want to, if I know it, I want to help other people know it. So you have a brand too. You know, when I started on LinkedIn, today I went over 30,000 followers. So if you don't know, LinkedIn is where business is done. I ain't hating on Facebook, but your customers are on LinkedIn. I'm just letting you know. So when I started LinkedIn, I took a piece of paper, I folded it lengthwise, I folded it in half, and I said, what do I want to be known for in the top corner? What do I not want to be associated with in the top? Because it's just as important. There's things, if you like something, if you comment on something, the algorithm and your customers say, oh, you about that? I don't like that. So choose. I'm not telling you not to. You know, what are the things I'm passionate about? I'm passionate about Black excellence in the military, veteran community. I'm passionate about supporting and uplifting other people. And then the last one is, what are some things that I want to be known for, right? So thought leadership is, you know, entrepreneurship, Black small business, that kind of thing. But what do I really want the legacy to be? And if you know, those things have changed over time, but if you kind of get that simple strategy and just post once a week. There are 1 billion people on LinkedIn. 3% post. 3% of 1 billion people post once a week. So just think about, there are a lot of creepers there. Most people are not watching, and I love LinkedIn because it keeps your ego in check, because you know, you ain't getting a lot of likes and you ain't getting a lot of engagement, but you can see views, and that tells you a whole lot. So, you know, develop your brand. It's important because you have the opportunity. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to sit in front of a group of people to approve your thoughts. You can put them on there and don't care whether people like them or not, but people will engage and give you ideas and expand your thoughts. And then you have books and you can become an expert. John Maxwell said, if you study anything for 5 years, you are an expert. And I've been studying leadership, communication, and relationships for the last 25 years, so.
So you are an expert.
That's right.
That's what you got. Well, I want to thank each and every one of the panelists here today. I want to thank the audience for coming out, pressing your way out. This has been an incredible night. I kind of am like sad a little bit because it's over, and I didn't take notes. So I'm trying to like remember everything. And I'm like, okay, we gotta hurry up. We need photos. I gotta try to take the notes real quick. Okay. So one has the transcript. So it's recorded.
I did.
Oh, see, perfect. Thank you. Because I was like, I need to play back this, right? So again, thank you everyone for coming. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to be co-moderator today. And that concludes our event tonight.
It's hard for me to get up these days.
Go ahead. All right. People pay attention, and I appreciate that.